let's start here. First off, let me say good morning time, everybody. It's just your friendly local radio amplifier technician, Mr. B.I. I want to get a good prime example of a good working version of this. Okay, so what we have here is a Texas Star 350, and we got ourselves a Hurricane 350. Two separate universes. So first off, let's talk about this. This got sent over by a nice Canadian gentleman. His name is Chris. Chris sent us a beautiful bottle of maple syrup. Actually, legit high dollar Canadian. I gotta fight myself to say it. I keep wanting to say Canadian bacon, even though that's not right. Canadian maple syrup, and it's wonderful. Chris sent this to us a while ago. This here. And when he sent it over, he sent it with these here. These are two used 2879 Toshibas. Let's get this up here for the camera to slowly figure out it's got a focus on them. Focus. Focus. All right, we'll do manual since you're having a hard time with that. Okay, real deal Toshiba non-red dots. So he has called me religiously like every other month. Otto? Hello? He has called me religiously like every other month. Hey, is it my turn yet? Hey, is it my turn yet? Hey, is it my turn yet? And I'm like, dude, calm down. Dude, back off. I'm going to get to you before Christmas, I swear. He has just bugged the snot out of me. Not my favorite way of being treated, but it's okay. He's been very polite in doing it. And he always contacts me like the weirdest hours. It's like Sunday at 9:30 at night, or Sunday at 10:30 in the evening, or Monday at 5 a.m. It's weird. But he just wants the power wire upgrade, transistor swap, full checkout, make sure everything's working on this thing, get it 100%. That's no big deal. So he sent this off first. Now, he bought this amplifier from a completely different source, right? Interweb transaction someplace. And it had a completely different name on it. We had a guy's name on here by the name of Jeff, and he kept saying to me, man, it's a Hurricane 350. And I'm like, well, I've got a name and a phone number on another Hurricane 350. But then I've got this one sitting here with no contact information on it. What are the odds of that, right? Not in the house at BBI. So I sent him a picture. I said, well, dude, this doesn't make any sense to me. Which one's yours? So I sent him the picture of this one. And he said it was this one. And I'm like, well, that can't be. It's got this dude's name on it. Okay? And he goes, no. And then he explains the whole thing. So we had this huge discussion that went on over a month about how I did not have a Hurricane 350 in here with his name on it. Well, come to find out it's this piece of equipment here. So me not understanding what he had done, or maybe he'd explained it to me and my sincerest apologies to you, Mr. Chris. If I got the details backwards, please, when I call to talk to you about this on the phone, let's not go over them again. It's not worth it. He's one of these guys that when you call him, hey man, I'm going to work on your stuff. Great. Or, hey man, what can I do for you? And then he's got to go through all the details again, and then again, and then again. Very thorough. Very thorough man. Well, let me show you the difference between A and B. I was a little hoping it was A. Or this will be A and we'll make this other one B. I was kind of hoping that it would be option number B. I'm going to show you why. Let's bring you forward and let's snuggle you up here. We're going to bring you in here close so you can see what's going on inside of this guy. Isn't she a gem? Now, if it was up to me, I'd pull the transistors out of this and I'd file this in the garbage can. And let me show you why. This is option number B. A, B. This has SD 1076 transistors in it, and this has got MRF 455 or 454 black dots. There is a nightmarish world of difference between A and option number B. This represents probably 6 hours, 7 hours worth of work, if I'm lucky. This represents about 4.5 hours worth of work. And it's all because of it not being fiddly farted with on the inside. This thing here has got obviously a pop transistor. The output balance resistor is completely burned. The relay is garbage. The op-amp circuit here that drives the preamp is garbage. It uses these old school SMAs. There's just a lot of bad going on here. The reason these Hurricanes were so kick-ass is because of this here. If you got this remote plug, you could put this off in the trunk, stick this up on your dash, and run the whole amplifier remotely. Main power, RF preamp, you had a gain control, and then your sideband delay, all remote. Plus an output power indicator. Guys love these. I'm not a fan. Just not a fan. So, needless to say, my mission here today, oh hell with it, I'll do it after I shut the camera off, is to try and make this run again. Now, also in the interim, Chris being a big fan of the channel here, the show, I did a video here not too long ago where I was talking about how a guy was kind enough to send up some Toshibas for me to review and test, and then I ended up purchasing them from the guy. And the reason I needed the Toshibas is because, got to remember, I'm primarily a repair shop, build shop second, if you can get me to take a build for you. So now, to sweeten up the pie a little bit, let's go ahead and bring you on back here just a couple feet. There was some other transistors that Chris had sitting in a drawer, and he's like, man, I want to send them over to you because I know that they'll go to good use. Him being a very kind Canadian and all, which I thought was freaking awesome. So he sent over all of his spare transistors that he had, and this is a 2SC2290, 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 2SC2879, 2SC2290. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 12879. And then in here is straight from Haigu North, 2290 1816 DOAs. With the data sheet and their packing slip. So the 2290s are not worth a lot, but I have a feeling that I'm going to need to put 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them in here based off of this one resistor. And I don't want to deal with this amplifier, man. This 2879 is great. It is a pull. This 2290 is a pull. This 2290 is a pull, and it's out of a messenger. I can tell that because the one leg of it is cut. This is also a pull. And I'm sure these all test good, knowing as thorough as this gentleman is. So, it's like I can use this in a repair someplace. Have faith. I'm sure these are both pulls. These are new. So, first things first, and then we're going to circle back to this. We're going to do the Texas Star first, then we're going to circle back to this. So that's where we're at, and let's talk more, dude. Let's get moving forward. This Texas Star's had an interesting life. I called Mr. Chris, said, hey man. He goes, yo. I said, hey man, what happened? And he told me, and I laughed, he laughed. And I said, well, that'd explain why it's not working so hot. He's got a neighbor that's like half a mile away. And they got to chitty-chatting on the radio. We've all made this mistake. Everybody has. We can't judge him negatively for this. We can't. He got to chitty-chatting away. About 10-15 minutes went by, and then he noticed that he did not have an antenna attached at all. Oopsie. And his neighbor is a half mile away, ain't gonna be able to hear the difference. Not enough to say, hey man, you're not hitting me as hard as you normally do, because he's a half a mile away. So he was transmitting off a coax connector someplace. Oopsie. He said, when I went to check it, I could cook bacon on it. And I said, is it Canadian back bacon? And he goes, no. I don't think he had my sense of humor I was having. Sorry, it just Super Troopers comes out at me every single time I'm not going to even bother fooling with these. I had one of these tabs, this tab here, on this HG. In the process of removing it, was loose. Not going to even mess around with it. Don't care. Let's hit the Starte button. Starte. This is showing that this transistor is a short. Yeah, that's a short. So that one is a bad transistor. That smells like poo. F fart on you. We'll check it with this tester, and then let me grab another one over here. Get old reliable out. And it's showing this one as a short as well. Xenerd junction failure. Diode junction common cathode Zener 1 is what that says. So we'll get out old reliable here. I like me old reliable. She's a good old girl. Oh, these transistors are toast. Tossed and toast, yeah. Yeah, toast and toast. No light. He says, so you're going to test those transistors? I don't know if they're good or not. And I said, yes, I'll test them. So the answer to that question is these transistors, no good. Thank God we got all these other options to go through. Well, while we're sitting here, let's do all of these as well. $22.90, $22.90. I see HG in his future. $22.90. $22.90. $22.90. tighten. Dial down the gain a little bit. There are some weird people on this planet, I'm here to tell you. And yesterday, one of my neighbors woke up to all of his tires slashed, including his spare tire. Well, my neighborhood, everybody here's got cameras on like everything. And we all talk to each other. This has got a gain of 70. That is a good transistor. Good transistor. So, the bat phone started ringing first thing in the morning. And my one neighbor that lives next door to him got on his ring system. And at about 3:30 in the morning, this little tiny human being that looked like they weighed about 90 pounds soaking wet, dressed in all black with a backpack on, come walking by up the street, and she was, no, that one's good, it's got a gain of 40. Looked like she, she was kind of slinking along. Now, she's not the smartest knife in the drawer, because, well, we figured out who she is, and she only lived next door for my buddy down the street, not next door to me. My buddy down the street for like 5 years, and she never noticed all the security cameras on his house. But she's a little pixie sprite of a human being. She's like 19 now. Anyhow, this has got a gain of 59. It has come out that this was my neighbor down the street, his son's girlfriend. And they dated for a long time. Then all of a sudden we didn't see her around no more. And then we seen the guy down the street get his ass carted off to jail here not too long ago. We're all kind of wondering what the deal was. Well, come to find out, they put him in jail for, well, some sexual shit. So it's got a gain of 29. Why? Yeah, he's been married to the same gal now for like 30 years. 29. He was doinking this little pixie sprite of a human being in the house. The son found out about it. Son lost the shit, told the mom about it. Mom called on the dad, and he went to jail. Well, these wonderful people get to fighting on Facebook, which all that stuff came out too last night. 41. It is amazing to me what kind of thoughts go through certain people's heads. Like, I mean, she's a cute little thing, but she was not unsmart. You know what I mean? She's a cute little gal, just getting started in life, and he made the decision that he wanted to put his stuff up inside of her stuff, and the end result is he got tired of her, she got tired of his shit, and man, it was the cutest thing, dude. She was like G.I. Joe, man. She was like sticking to the trees, and then she was hiding between the cars, and then she got up and crawled underneath the truck, and then you hear this psss noise come out of the truck, and then out of the left ear, and then out of the right ear, and oh my, oh, unbelievable. Moral of the story that I'm trying to share with everybody here is, if you've been married for a couple decades, don't be sticking your wing wang where it shouldn't go, because it never turns out well. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I was like, wow, all kinds of people in this world. So we've got one good Toshiba at a gain of 85. Oh, it's going to be one of them days where my phone rings all day. Gain of 41, gain of 40, gain of 70, gain of 59, and a gain of 29. Let's get out old reliable here. Can't listen to you go ding da ding 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 da ding ding in my ear anymore. Let's get out old reliable here. Let's beta gain check these. Did my battery finally die in this thing? It's only been in there for 20 years. Nope, nope, still good. Got neon light. All right, so what we're looking for on this old antique globe okay, so this one's got a gain on this checker at a gain of about 29. Now let's take this high gain here of 70. I'll hook it up like so. And hook this up like so. That one's pretty close. It's almost out, so depending on which transistor checker we're using, technically I can use these two together. This is going to come into play later on, so just bear with me, I have an idea here. See, now it popped up with a gain of 72. So, oh shit, come here. $73. $73. Okay, 73 again. $61. $61. $62. Okay. $59 and $62. Now those are both such high gain transistors that if we ran these together, eventually by the time they balance each other out, which they will through operation, but they'll probably be in the 50s. That's how much gain we're going to give up if we use those two together. Now I got a whole stack of 2290s sitting over here. Huge stack of them. So I'm going to go through that stack and see if I can find something a little bit closer, because we're going to need a matched set of 4 2290s here in a little minute. Gain of 42. $42. I'm looking for a consistent average. That's what I'm looking for here. Gain of 42. So 42 3 times in a row. Let's see. I don't think I've ever used this to test a PNP transistor. Maybe when I was a young lass trying to fix a key-in transistor in a Texas Star or something. Okay, so even this gain of 30. Gain of 30. Isn't that amazing, the difference? There's so many subtle differences between these Chinese transistors and the Japanese version, like the thickness of the legs, which is the die cut. So this is the same gain. Okay, we're going to utilize these two transistors to fix this. That's our only option. To convert this to 2290s would be not worth it. So that's the direction that we're going to head. We'll put these brand new HGs in a hole. We're going to set these aside just for a hot minute. And we'll throw our 2290, our odd duck, out here. Throw it back in the bag. And we'll throw this Toshiba back in the bag because we don't know what we're going to do with these yet, and they're not really mine to do anything with at the moment. So, which I think he wanted to send those in on a trade deal. Okay, let's get this finished. And I'm going to return some phone calls. Bulbs burn out. There are no more incandescent light bulbs in the United States. There are none. None left. And this is the last of the drop-in replacement LEDs that I can find on the inner boob. For the most part. For now. So, to make it so they're all the same color, I'm going to go through and I'm going to replace all three of these lights with LED bulbs. To make it look right. And be right. We'll be back. I mean, if you're going to fix something, do it right, be clean about it, and make it look nice. That's just my opinion. But what do I know, you know? Okay, so everything's on 12 volts. Hello, audio 1212. Let's see what we got for end results here. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Hello, audio 1212. Beautiful. Hello, 12. Input tune is good. Hello, our dial watt is golden. Preamp is working. Let's bring on some volts. We'll come up off of 14. We'll come up off of 12. And that should increase our drive to 20 from 10. Let's bring our power online. There's a 350-ish. Let's check our dial watt now. Perfect. Let's go up here and look at our input tune. Totally acceptable. Okay, back down here to the amp. Meter is working. Okay. Audio. Go to high now. Audio. Audio. Perfect. Perfect. Well, I'm going to call that repaired. up and ready to go, out the door and back to Canada, which I think is a good thing. Let's put the tin on it. So let's talk about what we see here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 455s, but these are black dots and these are like double purples. We have double capacitors here, single capacitor here, single capacitor here, and single capacitor here. Input capacitor, input capacitor, input capacitor, disconnected input capacitor. This tab leg isn't soldered down, and we're missing a screw here. See that? This whole relay section is a mess, and I'm afraid to try and rebuild it, to be honest with you. This whole power section over here is a mess, and then it looks like this SMA here in the top corner has gone through some kind of funky disintegration, or that's some really weird glue, but this SMA is separating and this one is missing most of its, you can see that right where the tip of the pen is at. SMA is cracked, and then this is kind of like disintegrated. There's a lot of problems with this amp. Not to mention that it's got an extra on-off switch here in the back, which leads me to think there's a problem here. With this transistor being blown and somebody trying to replace it, and this whole mess going on here, we're knowing that this is imbalanced, so this is all burned up. Output combiner, all in all, doesn't look to be too bad. This is part of a breaker panel knockdown box. This is part of a ground lug out of a breaker panel for like your home. I'm just kind of curious if it'll even power up, because I'm on the fence if I even want to take the time to fix this or not. It's like I told the customer, I said I'd really kind of like to just pull the transistors out, set this thing aside someplace, trash can, and do something different with it, trash can, and maybe take the transistors and build something that might be notable, BBI build. But we'll see. We'll see here. Contact, okay, nothing exploded. Okay, that lit up. RF gain in, RF gain out. That meter is not working at all. That's scary. Well, at least it lit up. We can't really do anything more than test that. I don't have the cabinet that I want to build this in, so I think I'm going to have to order it. Because this I'll have less time in building a new amplifier than I'd have in repairing this one. If that makes any sense. Preamp is not working at all, it's frozen. Hence the reason the LED didn't come on, I personally believe. No, this one's probably junk. And it's missing the 10 ohm resistor. If you look, you'll see that we have our 10, 10, 10, and nothing. Let's pull transistors out. Let's see what we got for viable components. Okay, so there was no thermal compound between this transistor and the heat sink. There's a bunch of dirt though bunch of dirt. The screw hole is stripped, by the way. Just throw that out there. A couple of these transistors as well, I had to flat blade screwdriver, use the threads of the screws to push out the screw itself. That is not too overly discouraging to me, though. This is something that we're used to dealing with, so we'll be able to work around this for the most part. Thermal compound underneath that one. Thermal compound on that one. A little bit of thermal compound on that one. Okay. So, let's see what we got. We'll go with the replaced transistor first. Survey says junk. Popped, blown, no good. Let's try this one. Beta gain of 8. Okay. Seven. Seven. Well, at least we know where we stand with these. They're HFE gains in the toilet. Like circle in the drawer of death. But they're not bad. They're just incredibly low. I think if I go digging, I can find another 455 that's probably got the same gain, but I think it's time I call my Canadian friend and see what he wants to do. I think that would be the best option here. I'm going to let you guys watch the whole process. Now we're going to do this through time lapse. So that means this segment that you guys are watching right now is going to end. And let me roll the ISO gain down a little bit so it's not so washed out. That's perfect. Let's roll that down and, well, let us begin. Okay, well, so picking up where I left off on the last segment, our Canadian friend, I called and I talked with him about what was going on, and he said to me, he goes, well, there's a small couple problems that I need you to take care of. And I said, what's that? And he goes, well, the Texas Star 350 that you put together, you need to go and change out the 2290 HGs that you put in that Texas Star 350, and we need to change those to 2879s. And I went, oh, and I felt like a complete moron, like that. So we're going to do that. I'm going to set this over here and out of the way for a moment. I'll come back to this in a minute. And then he said, what are my other options that I can do here with this box, this little Hurricane? And I said, buddy, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. So here's all of his original transistors, 3 of which are good. 1 is obviously bad. This is the 2879s he sent up with the Texas Star. These are bad. Then he sent all of these transistors as well. And sure enough, I let myself slow down for a hot minute and take a look at what he sent over. And somewhere in my speed in non-discretion, I got 2879 in my brain. So I said, it's basically whatever you want to do, my brother. And he says to me, he goes, well, I want an amp that's only going to produce about 5, maybe 600 watts, and it's reliable. And I said, okie doke. So what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of working with this beat up amplifier and trying to make it into a shiny gem, we're going to set it aside, and instead we're going to start anew. Start a brand new over here. So what we have here is our standard 2x4 cabinet, which is about the smallest case that they make with an adequate amount of heat sink underneath it to really get this job done that he wants to get done. So I'm going to pull the 2290s out of here. I'm going to use the 2290s out of this bag, and we're going to create him a 4-pill 2290 amp. So he should be able to hit this with a 30 or 40 watt radio. It'd do about 300 to 500, maybe 600 watts, somewhere in there, depending on how we set it up. And he'll be able to stuff this behind the seat of his truck and have a good old time with it. We are going to make this sideband capable, so he'll be able to talk in any modes of operation on it that he wants. And I'm going to let you guys watch the whole process. Now we're going to do this through time lapse. So that means this segment that you guys are watching right now is going to end. And let me roll the ISO gain down a little bit so it's not so washed out. That's perfect. Let's roll that down and, well, let us begin. What we got is a completed little 4-pill box. I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. A little bit of a pain in the butt to shoot with this new software I'm using, but you all will enjoy it, I think. It's a 1,000 watt slug in peak, 1,000 in average, and a 5 watt bird slug in reverse, back from the bird 10,000 watt dummy load. We're going to end up probably somewhere right there between the 40 and the 60 at the 500 watt mark, 475 or so. Listen, you guys, this doesn't have the high watt, 2879 transistors in it. This has got the equivalent of 455s, basically the 2290s, because that's what it is, not basically it is. And we're just tickling it with a little bit of drive. Let's zoom back in here for a second. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Okay, so let's go over here. Let's take a quick look at the spectrum from 0 to about 212 megahertz. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. So I don't have to pan over here again. Let's show you the amp working. That's the amp on. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Those tiny little secondaries that we see in, they're like 50, 60 dBm down, so we don't even worry about those. Hello, 1 2. Long story short, is this little amp is really stupid clean. It's fully biased for sideband, which we're going to show you here in a minute. And let's show the output power. Hello, about 480 watts. Remember, 4 2290s, not 2879s. So the 2290 does about half the power of the 2879. Now we can use a lot of the similar parts, but the loading on the circuit's like way different. Okay, up here in the front it wanted 220 puff. Here in the back it wanted, it's like 75 puff. These are 860s, metal clads. I put the big transformers in it. We used our big Xgon load resistors. So it's fully classed B. Now if you run your radio in FM, then it's going to be an AB1. Got a decent sideband delay. This is the relay that switches our bias on and off, and this is our keying relay. So very straightforward 4-pill, just clean, neat design. Something that we've all come to expect and know that's going to happen that way. But this is going to run way better, and I mean like way better than that little Hurricane box. Now Mr. C, let's take a minute. I'm going to send this plug along with the amp. This thing is brand new. It's like Spaceballs. Doom, 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 da-na, da-na, dun, 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 dun. Okay. This is your standard 1/4-inch stereo plug-in jack. And this is what goes in the remote plug back here in the back. Your tip is hot. Your next ring is the return. Okay? So if you're going to do a bunch of sideband, you're going to want to keep your sideband switch up. And all you got to do is take any simple switch, any simple box, and flip the switch so these two leads make contact to each other. The tip to the ring, amp turns on. Very standard, common. Everybody in the universe makes a remote for this. That's all there is to it. And you got shield. And the reason we want to do shield is because you want to run shielded wire between your remote jack and your remote box to help keep RF from getting inside your precious little amplifier case. But we don't use a shield for anything. It's tip to this next ring. You attach the two together, the amplifier will turn on. Like I said, I'm going to send that with the amp. This is amp number 3871 with black labeling. Now, that being said, let's go back up over here to the bird meters again. Oh, yeah, hey, let's back out again real quick. We got our sideband switch up. Hear that little bit of delay versus no delay. Okay. So now we're going to take our radio and we're going to flip it to sideband. Turn our power all the way up on our radio. Let's turn the amp off. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Let's zoom on in over here so you guys can see what the hell's going on your little smartphones and everything you're looking at this on. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. So let's operate the amp on sideband. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Making our same numbers peak that we were making on sideband. Like I said, it's all set up. Now, I built this out of sheer desperation. No joke. And for some reason you want me to return these parts to you. I get it, no problem. So let's run down the inventory of what I am going to return to you. Your little Hurricane amp is going to come back to you with these two dead Toshibas that you sent up here. Your 455s, the one is marked as bad. These are also coming back. Your two 2290s that I accidentally put in that Texas Star, they're also going to get returned. And then the additional two 2290s here in the bag, HGs, brand new, they're also going to get returned. Still sealed up. This is coming back. Now, part of our agreement is what is left. He's also sent up these other transistors. And here is a 2290 with a gain of 29 in this bag. And here is a Toshiba 2879 with a gain of 85. And here's an additional 22, well, no. This is a DEI 2879 16T2, which is not worth anything to me. Apparently there's two of them up in here. So we'll take these little parts in on trade as per our agreement on the phone. Take all of those into account. But this is what's coming back. Now, because I screwed up on the Texas Star section of this video, which y'all are going to have a good laugh at. Oh, BBI screwed up on one, but he caught it before it left. I just throw these in here with these Toshibas. So like I said, I want to return the Hurricane, or return all these other parts. Let's get this all cleaned up, and now I got to go and recertify that Texas Star from the first portion of the video. So give me a hot second, let me reset the workbench, let me put the final screws back in this amplifier, we're going to put some warranty stickers on it. But brother, you are done finally. You don't have to message me anymore at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. Hey, this is Chris, the guy that sent you the maple syrup. Can you give me an update on my amp? When are we going to get around to doing it? Because I know that's when you think about it, is at 3 a.m. Because that's when all you guys think about your stuff, is at 3 a.m. You'd be shocked how many people contact me at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning to get an amplifier update. It's mind-blowing. It's okay. It's just part of the business. Preamp is working. Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Dial a bird now. Hello. Dial-a-watt is working. Everything on this amp is working perfectly. It now has 2 HG2879 transistors in it. Done. 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 Well, this is where we're going to end this tale. This story, this saga, ends right now. I would have had this done before I started the Mr. V project. Unfortunately, I didn't have the cabinet that I needed. And our good friends at ICA, they were totally willing to ship that thing out to me and got it here in a quick and fast order. There was a time where we couldn't even get these little cabinets. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Man, I am slipping in my 40-year-old age. Holy cow. Getting ready to say shit's done and putting up tools and thinking I'm getting ready to go up in the house and be with mama. Shit. Eventually I'll get it. Someday I'll eventually get it. Gentlemen, my name is BBI. This gentleman in Canada is now going to be the envy of all the radio operators around him. God knows he's waited long enough, put up with enough stuff, and bugged me for long enough about this. But patience comes to those who wait. I've proven it over and over and over and over and over again. So, 2 more amps back into the world to do their business. It is what it is. Gentlemen, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Big shout out to Siglent, Coaxial Dynamics, Bird, and as always, I end this on the same note every single time. Big thanks to every single one of you that tune in, watch, subscribe, follow along, participate, join in the group, BBI Amps, the group on Facebook. I say thanks to every single one of you guys. It dawned on me the other day, this is going on year number 6, that I've had this little printed off simple piece of paper hanging on my wall. Because in the beginning I didn't have the ability to put the number into the video. And I think it's pretty funny, it's been copied by everybody from Carl Built, Arland, and everybody else in this game. Because it's simple and it just works. I say thanks, gentlemen. I appreciate every single one of you, and I mean that honestly from the bottom of my heart. And we'll see you. Click, click, click.